Happy Devils Thursday! Victorious Thursday. Victorious Thursday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast post-game. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Scotty of SiriusXM, Liquid Metal.
Yeah.
We've won, 6 out of the last 7 games or something like that, or I don't know. We're winning. I love #winning. We're blocking shots.
I think it's more like 4 out of 5, but if you want to go 6 out of 7, I think it was like 9 out of 10 we just won or something like that, you know?
Yeah. But hey, we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Lose Islanders. Losing.
Lose Islanders.
Yeah, losing to Devils. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I brought back memories of the New Jersey Devils
South
under
Park?
Lou Lamoriello.
Oh.
Well, You remember, like,
I thought you meant fish
sticks. Some of the collapses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, firing Claude Julien, replacing him with, I don't know, with yourself.
You imagine that? You imagine that if Lou, fired Barry Trotz right now and just,
that would
jump
be awesome.
behind the bench?
Yeah,
oh,
but
man.
nothing is a bigger train wreck, and I'll take your line of Tom Wilson just single-handedly destroying the Rangers. But enough of that. Let's get to the Happy Devils recap. Let's do it.
Yeah. So a very, very strong defensive effort for the boys today. Big victory, 2-1, kind of beat the Isles at their own game. In the first period, our man Pavel Zacha. Oh, I got to shave. I haven't shaved in a couple of days, so I look a little rough over here. Pavel Zacha with his 16th goal of the year.
Hold on. No, don't shave because we're winning. That's
that's
playoff.
right.
That's your end of the season beard. I didn't shave yet because we've been winning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yep.
Touche. I will keep that in mind. All right. Pavel Zacha gets his 16th. That ties him with Yegor Sharangovich for second on the team, just behind Miles Wood, who didn't play tonight, by the way. Scratched, had an injury late in the second period last game. So he did not play tonight. But Pavel Zacha, his 16th from Jesper Bratt, his 22nd. And Nico Hischier, his 4th assist. So good to see the Devils up on top, 1-0. The Islanders came back and scored pretty early on into the second period. And then, late in the second, Beer Baron's favorite, Mikey McLeod, came through with his 9th goal on a very pretty pass from Damon Severson. Cross ice, McLeod, just slamming that bad boy home. Severson, that's his 18th assist. And Ryan Murray, very quietly, has put up 14. That's his 14th assist of the year. He had a strong game on defense. No goals in the third. McLeod got the first star. Pavel Zacha got the second star. Shots on goal. Devils 12-8-5 for a total of 25. Islanders 8-12-13 for a total of 33. Face-offs, woo! We got crushed here, 61% to 38%. We were 0 for 1 on the power play. The Islanders were 0 for 2, although we gave up a pretty bad breakaway. Damon Severson had no other option but to take a hooking call on that because it was just a breakaway. And then later on in the game as well, we'll talk about this. Jack Hughes getting back on a good back check when Will Butcher broke his stick. But hits 16-33, so the Islanders handedly out-hit us. But here's a stat I think everyone should be very happy to see. Blocks. 24 blocks for the Devils. The defense has been getting at it, getting in the lanes, sacrificing their bodies. Nico Hischier made a huge block today. Will Butcher, has been blocking shots left and right since he's been back in the lineup. And it's one of the questions I have in my notes right here, Sam Wu, is if Will Butcher is playing his way back into contention. But 24 blocks today. Only 9 giveaways. Not the best, but still playing a tough Islanders team who's trying to get points, and here we were thinking we were going to Tom Wilson, the Rangers, a couple weeks ago, and the Rangers, swept us. We seem to be playing the spoiler for the Bruins and the Isles right now because points are precious, and they are battling for positioning in the playoffs. And everyone here in this division is just within a few points of each other. So Devils are being a pain, not to the team who we thought they were going to be a pain to, but to two other teams, the Bruins and the Islanders. So good game by the boys. It was very reminiscent of an old Lou game. It was kind of a sludge, for a while, but you saw the boys gutting it out and fighting it, and they held on. I was really wondering, like in past games, where the Devils had a lead, especially against the Islanders, it almost seemed like they were just like, okay, yeah, we'll let you hang around for the first and second period, and then when they come out for the third, it's like, all right, we're really going to play now and show you up. This third period, they came out and they played hard, but the Devils were able to answer back, which, damn it, we got like 3 games left or 2 games left. Man, now, like the way the boys are playing together as a team, with some chemistry, actually having some lines, actually having some, somewhat scoring, take it
success.
for what it is, obviously. Yeah, some success now. Now it's like, oh man, they're stopping right now. They're finally like getting into the groove. I wish there was an 82-game season. When we were going through that Ranger madness of those 4 games, I was like, just end it now. I don't even want to watch anymore. Now I'm like, come on. I wish we still had like 27 more games or whatever. However many they took away this season to see where they can get. Because it took them a while, but they're starting to play really well, and they're starting to be able to adapt. Today, we talked about this the other day, right, Samu? We said, how are they going to come out after the Philly series? They were on a high. How are they going to come out in Boston? And it didn't work right away. It was bad, but they came out in the second game, and they played real hard. And then we were saying, okay, let's see if they can carry that success from the second Boston game over to this Islanders game. And they did. They did. Growth.
Well, hey.
Maturing. Look at this. Yeah. Things are fine. The things we've been talking about are actually finally starting to happen. They got to get more consistent, obviously, but damn, I wish we had like another 20. How many games did they take away? 26, 25, whatever the math is. I'm not very good at math. So someone smarter than me, please figure out the math, however many games we should be playing to an 82-game season. And, I think it's 26 that they took away, but whatever. Yeah, I wish they had those other 26 games now because they're really actually. I don't think they would ever make the playoffs or anything like that. But like we talked about, if they could have like got on a hot streak and got to like the 500 mark, or maybe even like a game or 2 above it, that would be a huge. It would have been. I mean, obviously, we don't have those 26 games, so we can't do it. We only got 2, 3 left, whatever it is, right?
And for anybody to say that, oh, you guys are, so stupid, nobody ever comes back. Look, St. Louis Blues won a Stanley Cup after starting terribly that season. Also, I believe it was the Philadelphia Flyers, our hated rival, was in last place, I think, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, last place in the league, and was able to make the 8th spot on the last day, I believe. I think it was about 6, 7 years ago or something like that. But who cares about them? The fact of the matter is, if there was anything we wanted from this season, was them to remember what happened in the beginning of the season and how they came back to finish strong when they could have all mailed it in and have some confidence going into training camp, rookie camp, whatever, and recover from some injuries, because I think Nico Hischier is starting to heal, but he's going to have more time to. He's going to have more time to heal.
If he's playing with a face thing still, I'm sure he doesn't prefer to play with that, face guard on. If he's still playing with that on, he's still injured, It's just
Yeah. So, I think these are all positive signs. I don't think this is fool's gold. There's still a lot of work to do with this team.
Oh, tons of
But
work. Yeah.
but we talked about the no fun zone because I've seen the NFZ acronym in the Facebook Live and hello YouTube Live and Twitter
Yeah,
Live,
Facebook
Twitch.
Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live. Everybody,
Yeah.
Benny, Daniel, Steve, Andrew. Oh, Will Wowman, how you doing there, buddy? Craig. Well, we got some good stuff on here.
Yeah.
Steve saying Johansson, Butcher, or PK preferred choices for Seattle. We'll have to talk about that. I'm wondering, really, Sam Wu, since Will Butcher has come back in the lineup, is he playing his way back into the mix as a possible, it really seemed like the coaching staff was down on him, that they were just, that's it, we're done, we're not, we're moving on from Will. Like, he just seemed like he was destined to be a healthy scratch there for like the rest of the season. But as in every hockey season, injuries and things, and especially this season with COVID, PK goes on the protocol, Siegenthaler goes on the protocol and then gets injured, so there's spots opening, and he's been really solid. He's been really, really solid. I like the way he moves the puck at the point too, with Ty Smith being out of the lineup the last two games. Butcher has taken over that PP1 spot, and he is good. He is good on that point. It's a good question to have, ample young defensemen, it's good. It's a good thing that we have, and we're going to be figuring out these questions. The answers to these questions, but I don't know, man. I wish we had some more games now. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, I was like, just end the season already. I'm so tired of this. And now, get a little bit of success. Boys start playing well. You see that chemistry forming, and you really start to see like, oh, wow, that potential that we've been talking about, it's actually finally starting to show up. We're not just talking about it. We're not just, like, oh yeah, in a couple of years. And I mean, we still are for some of them, but for the others, having Nico back on the team is huge. Huge.
Oh, yeah. And I lost my train of thought. Damn. Don't you hate when that happens?
Oh, Sam Wu. And I'm really liking. Go ahead.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Just remember when Fitzgerald made that big trade with Lou Lamoriello, they lost quality players in Zajac and Palmieri, and it seemed like it shook the team quite a bit, where they went on this losing streak, horrible losing streak, especially the 4 straight to the Rangers. But hey, karma's a bitch. I mean, look what happened to the Rangers in the last 3 or 4 days. But enough of that.
Wow.
It is good to see young leadership. They're over it now. And they beat their old comrades in their building, that dump called the Mausoleum. And it's great to pull out a squeaker right now. This is
a squeaker, huh?
Well, it's 2-1. I think that's a squeaker.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's something, a foundation to build on. Again, it sounds cliche, but this team is winning a bunch of games without the old guard who's been around for a while, especially Zajac. Because I'll tell you, during that losing streak, I was wondering if this team even had that capability. You knew it was in there. When was that going to come out? And it's coming out at the most perfect time, because Tom Fitzgerald will need to evaluate this team after the season and figure out and get an accurate assessment of how to help Lindy Ruff and the coaching staff. Is it through the draft? Is it free agency? I don't know. I don't get paid to figure that part out. But what we do know is this team's got potential. It's how do we bridge that to next season and get off to a much better start and sustain that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, next season it'll be a lot different. It'll be a full season. We'll have training camp. We'll have practices. Hopefully, we won't be dealing with COVID shutdowns and stuff like that. So, I'm like I said, we're gonna look back at the season and just be like, yeah, just forget about it. It's just way too much crazy happened this season, and like I said, it's only half. It's 2/3 of a season anyway. So, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to next year. I wish they were still playing, another 26 games, but I'm really starting to look forward to next year to all the possibilities. Thinking about, I know I've said it, thinking about Pavel Zacha stepping into Kyle Palmieri's role there on the wing with Hischier, bringing up Alexander Holtz. Woo! I like the way Kuokkanen, Hughes, and Sharangovich are playing. Man, I'd love to see, what Sharangovich and Zacha could do on a wing like that all season instead of, dancing around to so many different lines, trying to find combinations, chemistry, having to shut down the injuries and everything like that. Once you have that a little bit settled, all that stuff should have been done in practice, but we couldn't because we didn't have practice because of the season, So, man, I don't know.
I want to give props.
I want the next season to start like tomorrow. Can we start the next season like at the end of next week? Basically,
yeah, I know.
Just like
I know. But I want to give props to somebody. PK Subban, and I'll tell you the reason why. Think of what he went through this season. Still going through, but after last season, it was like, we got to get rid of PK. His salary's too high, whatever. He's got to change his game. New coaching. You haven't been playing for nine and a half months. Obviously, personal life, his split from Lindsey Vonn. Okay, that does, affect a player. They're human too. He was able to overcome a lot of these challenges, and he, when he started to really focus on his game and just focus on the simple things, the right things, and he didn't try to do too much. He had an impact. Now, can he improve? Yes. But where he was last season before the stoppage to now, I'm hoping that he can elevate his game to even higher level, if he's still on the team. I think he still has value because right now, yes, there's going to be a lot of young kids to play defense, but at the same time, it could be his veteran leadership really transforming his game and leading by example and shutting down top lines. I'm not saying he's going to be a Norris or whatever, but I think he could fit that role if he continues improving.
Yeah, definitely. And I see that a lot of people actually on Facebook Live and what's up everyone on YouTube Live and Twitter Live. Not everyone agrees with you, Samu, because Daniel's saying we should ship Subban off to Seattle. Steve is basically saying the same thing, except he thinks we'll be stuck with Subban. So I think some people are maybe disagreeing there a little bit with you.
It's okay to disagree with me. It's okay to disagree with me.
I think next year they might be able to get. Wait a minute, is it 2 years? 2 years, or next year is his last year of that contract, right? So, I think they'll be able to move him at the deadline or something like that. But PK also, I thought he had a pretty good year until he, went down recently. I thought he was playing really well, better than what he did last year, that's for sure. And obviously, once Travis and Kulikov and Palms and everyone left, we needed that veteran leadership in the locker room, which I know he brings. So we'll see. I mean, PK's fine. It's only one more year. It's not like
YouTube Live.
It's Ryan not the Gardner. End of the world.
Subban got to go, Sam.
I don't think. I don't know how. I mean, we're gonna have to eat a lot of that money or something like that. I think it might be fine. Just you keep PK, see if you can get rid of him at the trade deadline next year. If you can get any sort of like picks or whatever for him. But I think you keep him for the beginning half of the year while you're working your new defenseman, into the system, and then obviously we're gonna have a couple of bodies there waiting for when the trades do happen. And I'm sure Fitzy's probably going to go out and pick up, another veteran defenseman a la Sami Vatanen, a la Dmitry Kulikov, to have in the lineup that, again, they're eventually going to get traded. And hopefully when they get traded this time, our prospects are really finally ready to fully step into the role by the next trade deadline and like cement themselves in those positions. That's what I would think the goal is. Now, like we said, I'm no GM, I'm a dummy. So what do I know? But that kind of makes sense in my head.
Whistler, this is why I'm smiling and laughing. Whistler asks, Sam Wu, what do you think of Andre Johnson's future with the team?
Andre Johnson, that Swedish prospect, Andre Johnson.
Yes.
Oh man, I think Andre Johnson will be shipped out to Seattle. I don't think we're going to get PK to go to Seattle, but I think Andres Janssen would be a good ad for Seattle, being that he is, under control. I think for another 2 years after this. I think it was 3 years for us. And a restricted free agent. He's young. It might do him better. Just, like I said, crazy year. It was a crazy year, but he was kind of like he scored like Miles Wood, basically. He had an awesome rookie year, and then he had some not so good years. And Miles this year took the step forward, but Janssen did not. Obviously they're two different types of players, their size and, everything else, but I think they've been. I mean, maybe Miles Wood is a year. No. Janssen's a year older. So Janssen's like the oldest forward on the team, right? He's 26, and Miles Wood is 25. But it's the same thing. I think Janssen had like 17, 18 goals in his rookie season, and then he never replicated it. Remember what was Miles Wood? He was at like 19. I think he was at 19 goals his rookie year. And then he struggled. It was like 10, 8, 12. But this year he like figured it out. And if we were playing a full season, he definitely would have been breaking that 19 mark and moving himself into the 20s. Same thing with Zacha, Sharangovich. And by the way, Pavel Zacha, with his goal tonight, tied his career high in points with 32. So his next point, career high. That's progress.
That's great. Yeah. And you know what? Who did we expect? Did we expect that in the beginning of the season? He showed us.
Hell no.
He showed us why he was picked in 2015, 6 overall. And you know what? And I hope.
And why Ray Shero went crazy when someone else tried to. Who was it? Was it the KHL that was trying to sign him or something like that? Remember that? Like 2 years ago, or Ray Shero just like flipped out and was like cursing, like dropping F-bombs on like people, the reporters and stuff like that. He's like, Pavel Zacha is ours, like turned into Dark Side out of nowhere.
But
ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
But I gotta tell you, I know it's another team, but all that news coming from across the river of just self-destruction since one incident, related or not, it's starting to get like I saw something on the news ticker, but it went so fast. I saw MSG shareholder lawsuit against James Dolan, just like quickly, for excessive salary and paying too much time at his band. I guess he's in a band.
I know he is. I know. Oh, trust me, I know all about JD Southerner. Did a couple sessions with him at the old Sirius XM studios when I worked in New York.
Really?
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's have a feature.
No.
So what was it like?
No.
What was it like, Scotty?
No,
I'm just
no.
kidding.
But yes, I did work with him, but we did, I did like the Knicks for a while when I was younger, but I never was really into basketball too much. And obviously, I have no desire to talk about the Rangers with him. So
let me tell you something. And this is something we can talk about just a little bit, but
What's that?
You and I are professionals, and for real, because sometimes we run into situations where, okay, as a kid growing up, I'm supposed to hate that team. I'm supposed to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I found most of the times? The people that were perceived as your enemy, growing up and all that, 99% of the times, they're really awesome people. Once you get to know them, like sometimes you would sit in, doing this, doing that, whatever. No, you don't think so?
Not James Dolan. Not James Dolan.
Good, because I just got it out of you. I tricked you.
Well, you didn't need me to tell you that. I mean, you can just look at any news report anywhere. He's I'll
tell you
dude,
what. If I
you think we have it bad with Harrison Blitzer, man. I would not want James Dolan anywhere near our team.
I kid around about that stuff sometimes, but you know
sometimes,
what?
Yeah.
When I saw Doge go to like 70 cents, and I've been getting private message from people, and I have to actually say this because I'm a little worried for real. I do not give sound financial advice on this podcast. I'm kidding around for entertainment purposes about buying Doge. We talk about it and all that because I've gotten some private messages and tweets.
I wouldn't believe anything we say on this podcast. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. and I'm putting all the disclaimer. I should put the ticker up. I should put our ticker up of disclaimer. Sam Wu is an idiot. Don't listen to him. Talk to your financial planner now. You're certified. Because I've been getting like numbers from people like if
they want you to buy the team, Sam.
I think that's what it is. And you know what? If I bought the team, I'll tell you what, I would have to also buy Bitcoin because I would probably surpass the league history fines because I'd probably one that would elevate and raise the temperature in the room and get into Twitter wars and war of words through the media with the Rangers owner. Like it's just my personality to do that, and and wouldn't that be a sight? Because you know what, to tell you the truth, and this is a credit to
probably not because you have to see him at all the board. You'd probably have to see him at all the board meetings.
Oh, I wouldn't care.
Like that for all the others.
I wouldn't care. I'll just be like, block him out. Be like, I don't see you. But but I'm crediting Harrison Blitzer. They keep their mouth shut. They try to keep it classy. And I can never be like that. I can't help myself. You know what I mean? I'd be like a Mark Cuban, but it took him time to eventually kind of settle down within reason because he used to get fined all the time. But anyway, enough about me.
Yeah.
Doge is up. I do not give any financial advice. I'm just kidding around.
I'm also glad that we have, I know we have talked about it many times. I know it's something that I've mentioned many times, and people would say stuff to me, goon, blah blah blah, where I would talk about that we need to be bigger, that we get pushed around too much. I used to talk about how you can't have Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes on the same line and stuff like that. People used to get on me. It's the new NHL. Well, we saw that sometimes it doesn't work that way. So I'm glad that Fitzy does have some big bodies coming on this team, because I would never want to go through the situation that they are going through across the river. Because it's just bad. And for every part of the Tom Wilson that I didn't like the first night, because I did not like the hair pulling and the slamming of his head, I loved the whole like line brawls and everything in the next game.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
all about that. Like
Yeah.
that to me is old time hockey. Like dudes lining up and having a reason and throwing down. Like I was all about that. So, and I know people will say that that's a staged fight and everything else, and they'll get on that. So I don't know. I'm in the opposite world. Like
Yeah, but
I
at the
didn't
same
like it.
time, although it was somewhat staged, the emotion
They had
was
to
real.
though.
The emotion
Yeah,
was real.
there's no way they had
I mean,
to.
they're-
Like, even though the Rangers like lost every single fight, they still they still had to go and throw down. And like, I think it was Keith Jones on the game. He was being real nice. He's like, "Listen, Zdeno Chara didn't fight. Dylan didn't fight." He was going through like all the big guys on
wasn't
the
even there. Ovechkin
yeah,
wasn't even there.
he was just like, listen, he's like, these guys could have, but I think that's something also that really Fitzy has got to think about as well. Like we don't want to ever see Jack in that sort of situation like that, and players, obviously, in my opinion, players shouldn't have to be in that situation. Other players should be in control of themselves.
Yeah.
But I will say this for Wilson, he answered the bell, like he knew they were going to come
Yeah.
after him, and dude, I don't know. I was all about those, the
You
other
think
fights.
about Tom Wilson. Think about Tom Wilson. Okay, say when 50 years from now, he's telling his grandkids, there was one time, I decked a couple Rangers, and I only paid a $5,000 fine. I paid $240,000 more just by.
Oh yeah,
like the
and
story.
Buchnevich is going to get suspended. I mean, he swung his stick. He got him, and he got Wilson in the hand. And you could say Tom Wilson deserved it, but he just came in after Zibanejad put a good check. Zibanejad went and put a good check, good, clean, hard check.
Yep.
On Wilson
That's
in the corner, and now but then Buch came in after, and you saw it as soon as Chara saw that too, he went right after him as well. So it was getting chippy. It was getting a little feisty, but I liked those fights. I was all about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm a weirdo.
Don't take the emotion out of the game. Okay, that kind of stage fight. I'm not a big fan of stage fighting, but you know what? What choice did the Rangers have?
They didn't have a choice. Just when the Devils and Rangers had that line brawl, I was all about that. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I know people were like, "Stage is so stupid." I was right there because we were right in the heart of the emotion of it. And you see Pete DeBoer and Torts going at it on the. Oh my God! Yes, put Cam Jansen out there. Yes, let's do this. It wasn't our fault. Stu Bickle jumped onto Ryan Carter there.
As long as it's authentically hating each other, I'm cool with it. But back in the day, it was so staged. It's like, okay, we were waiting for this moment. These two guys going, let it get it over with. That stuff. It's all in context. If the context warrants it, which it did, I'm cool with it. Of course, you worry about long-term effects. If somebody gets injured, but these guys, they know what they're doing, what they're getting themselves into. I just don't like the blindside stuff that happened. I don't like any of that, because that has no place.
Yeah, exactly. Stick to the code and do it. And I'll say what I'll say. I thought Wilson was over the line, but everything that happened the next game, except for the slash and stuff, but the actual fighting, Strome just dropping the gloves, right off the face-off circle there. I think he was the third. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he was the fifth fight or something like that. I mean, these guys, they're not fighters, and they had to stand up for themselves.
And that penalty box.
Buchnevich is going to get suspended. Oh yeah, but Buchnevich is going to get suspended for that slash. So all in all, Tom Wilson went over the line, but look at what happened to the Rangers afterwards.
They
just completely
GM gets fired,
imploded.
President gets fired. The owner's pissed
off.
Oh my God. And then now the organization has to pay a fine. And now there's apparently a lawsuit. I don't know.
my
It
God.
Just quickly.
First, it was
going.
D'Angelo with the burner accounts this year. Man,
Yeah.
they've had quite the journey over there.
That's the guy, D'Angelo. Yeah, that's another one. And now, exclusively on the Let's Go Devils podcast post game, we found out that Scotty worked with James Dolan. Headlines revealed.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I worked with JD Suzner. That's who I worked with, not James Dolan.
Yeah. Yeah. But one time I will say, and I've told this story once. I had to cover when the Rangers were in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2014, and I was in the elevator, and who was right next to me? John Tortorella. And again, I tell this story. It's like, okay, this is John Tortorella, hothead.
You hate him as a Ranger, but you love him every other time. I love Torts, in general.
But
yeah,
the way he treated
funny.
child, the way that he treated that child in the wheelchair, in the elevator, was classy. It was, just a beautiful thing. And as soon as the elevator doors opened, and then the media, asking questions or whatever, he's walking by. It's vintage John Tortorella. Like, I love that he's a good
just
human
turns
being.
it on.
He's a good human being, and then he goes to his alter ego. I hate you.
Game mode. Yep, he's in game mode.
Don't talk
Yeah,
to me, Brooksy. What are you talking about,
that's
Brooksy?
it. Yeah.
Why don't you use more than two fingers to type your article, Brooksy?
Probably. As soon as he walks out, he probably starts cracking up. Probably doing all that. But
yeah.
You
probably have no idea.
Either way,
about Brooksy.
What's that?
Larry Brooks.
Well, we don't have to get into.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you off air.
Yeah.
There's a funny story I have about him, but nothing bad or anything.
But yeah, good to see that. I like to see that we're getting some size, we're getting some grit, and the Devils are playing well together. We got another game against the Islanders, and then one more against the old Flyers there to wrap up the season. Hey, could the Devils get pretty? Let's see what they can do here. They're sitting at 45 points, so maybe they can get to 40, 48, 49, somewhere in there. We'll see what they can do. That'd be really nice.
When do they
play the Isles on? They play the Isles on Saturday. They play the Flyers on Monday. It's a makeup game, and that is the last one of the season.
I should go down for that.
Well, we'll see.
I have to go.
But I think good game today by the boys. So thank you, everyone up there on YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Twitter Live and everything else. 2 more games.
Oh, yeah. 2 more. There's the music.
Mm-hmm.
That's our cue. 2 more games. And then Scotty and I could go on vacation. We don't have to do any post games for a while. Maybe we'll do some breaking news and more destruction across the river called the New York Rangers. You never know. Suddenly you'll hear Chris Drury quits, Mark Messier in, upheaval at Madison Square Garden. Also, congratulations. I think I saw Kenny Albert is going to be the TNT or TBS or whatever play-by-play guy. I think I saw that on the wire. Congratulations. Also, rumors are Steve Levy and I forgot who the other guy are front runners. But I have my hope for Bill Clement and Gary Thorne.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about old school hockey, remember those days. But alrighty, and also congratulations to Matt Junio, our wonderful, esteemed viewer, listener, and fan of the podcast. We sat in on a Zoom call. He did his master's degree thesis, something about treadmills and athletes. I can't explain it because it was very high level, high IQ material. And if I try to explain it, I would really do a disservice and dumb it down. It was very interesting, to say the least. All right, Scotty. Well, thank you very much. Till next time, Let's go Devils.